And good morning, Manitoba Female Hockey League fans, into another edition of the MFHL podcast, Season 3, Episode 13, brought to you by Goaltenders Movement Fitness and Performance, Terrico Elite Prospects, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. I'm your host, Graham, the G Show Forsyth. Excited for this one today. We only got one guest joining the show. It's going to be a two-part interview since she's going to be joining this week's edition of the College Commitment segment, which I've come up with a name. I searched on the internet to see if this name was taken. It doesn't seem like it for this segment, which we'll be calling it next. The next stage, since, for players committing to colleges or universities after, they are finished here in their U18 AAA playing days, well, they're going to be going to that next stage of either university, college, maybe even junior down the line, or who knows, like me and Freddie were talking about, maybe, a select few are good enough to make it all the way to that top 1% in the pros and the PWHL. But I feel like the next stage for the title of this segment is fitting, just given that context, right? So Claire Hudson of the Winnipeg Ice is going to be joining the show. She's a third-year defenseman in the MFHL. Started off with the Interlake Lightning, has played the last two seasons with the Winnipeg Ice at this point. She's having a career year so far. We're going to not be talking about her time in the MFHL just as of yet. To start off, we're going to be talking about her commitment to Minot State University to play Beavers hockey at the ACHA Division I level for 2026-2027. But before we bring on Claire, just want to show you what the standings look like after Week 14 in the MFHL. Hudson's Winnipeg Ice are the sole team in first place right now because, well, Yellowhead pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the season on Saturday down in Niverville. Also had a chance to broadcast the Chiefs on Sunday. They've been looking good to start off 2026, but we actually broadcasted this game on Friday night. You can catch the full game on gshowproductions.uscreen.io if you want to look at our archived broadcasts. And yeah, Interlake thought they were on the precipice of maybe pulling off the biggest upset of the season. It would have been if they pulled off this crazy feat, as they only had one win going into that game against the Winnipeg Ice. That we're heading into that one with 19 wins. They made it, of course, their 20th win of the season. Then, as for Saturday in the league, we had a chance to broadcast Avros and Pembina Valley. This game got tied up in the second period, but then the Avros took off on the scoreboard, got outshot in that game, but had a strong performance from Adriana Almeida, and her teammates gave her some good help at times around her. But the biggest upset of the season so far, just due to how hot the Eastman Selects team was. It's only their third loss of the season to the Yellowhead Chiefs. Shout out to Yellowhead on a great weekend for themselves, as well as Interlake on getting their second win of the season on Saturday night. But for Yellowhead, they couldn't get the job done on Sunday in Winnipeg, a game where they outshot the Avros, but the Avros withstood the pressure from the Yellowhead Chiefs just enough to come away with that victory in overtime. Callie Lavallee playing hero the Selects with a huge bounce back. Maybe playing a bit angry in that game. 11-0 beating late on the Pembina Valley Hawks. And then for the Interlake Lightning, a 3-goal deficit after the first period really put them in a hole as Westman, led by Ivy Perkin, were able to come away with the 5-1 victory as the Wildcats try to further put their stamp on third place in the league. The Avros are only now 1 point behind them, but Westman has one game in hand. For the full statistics, full schedules, all of that on the MFHL, check out MFHLU18AAA.com for more details. But Claire Hudson, defenseman, third-year defenseman in the MFHL, she'll be joining the show next to talk about her commitment to Minot State University for the upcoming 2026-2027 season. You're watching the MFHL podcast. Claire joins the show next.
Number 3 of the Winnipeg Ice, commit of Minot State University, the Beavers, for 2026-2027. It's the Ice's leading point getter, scorer on the defensive side, Claire Hudson, joining this edition of the show. Claire, huge news earlier on for you this season. life-changing news, you could even say, as it's always such a big part in any hockey player's career when they're able to make that commitment to that next level. You decided to, of course, commit to Minot State University. What went into that decision to choose Minot as that next place?
Yeah, so I always knew that I wanted to go to Minot because I wanted to stay somewhere close to home, but I still wanted to move away. And as soon as I reached out, I knew it was the place for me because they were so welcoming. And after doing my research, like I knew they were such a great program. And then having some of our ice girls go there, like I knew it was exactly where I wanted to go.
Pretty great indicators for you to choose that place from what you just said, of course. It being close to home in North Dakota, and like you said, just now your conversations were great leading in. Did you have a chance to take a tour at all, get to meet them in person, or was it just kind of over video, over the phone conversations leading into it?
Yeah, no, I went to visit in April and it was great. I skated with the team and got to visit the campus, and it's a really nice small campus. And I even got to meet the university professor for science, and he was really great. And yeah, the team was all really nice too when I went down.
Yeah, and I mean that's almost a year ago from now. It's going to be April before we know it. But awesome, you had a chance to actually go down there, experience what it was all about, get to meet, of course, the science professor, and get a chance to know some of the girls. Was that the moment where you felt like your decision was pretty much set in stone, knowing that you had a good feeling going in, and that visit pretty much confirmed it that you would probably be taking your talents to Minot State?
Yeah, definitely. Like it was pretty early for a commitment, but as soon as I went down, I was sold. Like it was such a, I had known that I wanted to go there just from looking at the stats, but as soon as I went down and actually saw it, I knew I wanted to go there. Like I knew that I could picture myself going there for the next 4 years of my life.
And like you mentioned, ice players have played for this team in the past. I know currently there's quite a few players from teams like Westman, other places from around this league that have, chosen Minot State University. How excited are you for that? Not only getting a chance to play with players that have had similar experiences to yourself in AAA, but also knowing that you'll be able to play with players that maybe you didn't have a chance to before.
I'm really excited for it. Yeah, like it's nice knowing that I'll know some of them or have played with some of them, but it's also really exciting to get to play with some girls who I've only played against or have played spring with. Like I went down this year too just to watch a game, and I saw a bunch of the girls and they were all like really welcoming and really nice, and they were all like, "Oh, like I can't wait to play with you next year." And I was like, "Oh my God, like I'm so excited. Like I can't wait."
Oh, I bet that would get me fired up as a player as well. Someone that, of course, for yourself, you're going to be spending your next few years for the foreseeable future there, right? So great to know that the environment's great, and you'll be playing at the Division 1 level at the ACHA. Division 1, how does that sound now that it's starting to sink in that you're going to be playing some of the top quality collegiate opponents from around the states?
Yeah, it's pretty unreal. If you would have asked me or you would have told me that I was gonna play ACHA D1 my first year, I would have called you crazy because I had no idea where hockey was gonna take me, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and of course, throughout the second part of this interview, we're going to get into what your development's been like throughout the U18 league. But Freddie Nelson mentioned on this segment last week the aspect of school that, players, as much as hockey is, of course, a big reason of why you go to university to play, the school side is maybe even more important, given that hockey may not last forever for everyone, right? So, like you said, it seems like you're going to be going into the science field. Tell the viewers what you're going to be, I guess, studying for the next few years at Minot.
So I'm going into exercise science and rehabilitation. So that's gonna lead me into hopefully getting into a physio school so I can be a physio or an athletic therapist. But yeah, I'm really interested in the sciences, like biology and stuff like that. So that's what I'm gonna take at Minot.
Is I guess that area of biology sciences, is that something that's always kind of piqued your interest, the athletic side of things, or is that something that's kind of grown throughout the years with you, playing more and more hockey, more sports throughout your time?
It's definitely piqued my interest during high school. Like I took grade 11 and this year I'm taking grade 12 biology, and I know that's something I find really interesting. And then I'm really looking forward to like taking kinesiology, which is like physics in the body. And so yeah, I guess it's always kind of piqued my interest, but just over the last couple years, I knew that I wanted to take that at university.
I mean, it's quite interesting. Something that I think you'll learn a lot from probably. I mean, I'm not qualified to say, anything really about that industry specifically, but quite a cool industry, quite an important industry too, right? Just from an athletic perspective, having, someone to go to be able to help rehabilitate, help them through whatever they've gone through. I know I've gone through physio before for some injuries I had back playing hockey, so definitely a valuable position in the industry and really excited to see where you could take that. But, you know, deciding what that next adventure is going to be in terms of schooling, picking that next place to play. Could you let the viewers in now that you've gone through the recruitment process? What maybe some of the challenges are that players may not take into account before going into it?
Yeah, so my recruitment process, like everyone's recruitment process is going to be different, and I would say mine might be a little more different because I had reached out to Minot and they reached back out to me really quick. But like I know some people usually it takes like 3 or 4 emails just to get a response. And I would say for other people, it's just don't be discouraged. Like you'll find your place. You'll find where you want to go and what suits you best. You just have to keep at it. And like I know I was really fortunate to have Minot reach out so quickly, whereas some places I emailed never emailed me back. So it's really you just got to keep at it.
And I'm sure you also had a great support system around you as well, not only from your family's perspective, but as well as your Winnipeg Ice coaches throughout these past 2 years. Can you let the viewers in on how that support system has truly been beneficial throughout this process for yourself?
Yeah, the coaches have been great. Like I when before I committed to Minot, I had asked Coach Eugene, I said, like I'm really like trying to look into going to university. I really want to go. I'm not sure like which league I want to go into, but like U Sport or ACHA, I'm just happy to go anywhere. Like, can you tell me if this highlight clip is good of me? Like, I sent him my highlight reel and he watched it over for me and gave me some feedback on that. And then he sent me some emails of coaches and was like, maybe you should reach out here, or I know this place is looking for a new coach, so maybe wait a couple weeks before you reach out. And yeah, he was really helpful. And Kylie too, like she was always willing to help me look into schools.
Well, that's great to know that not only your coaches they cared, but they took that interest into helping you, improve your highlight reel if you needed to, knowing what, of course, the college scouts slash coaches like to see. And yeah, great to know that you had a great support system around you throughout this process. Congratulations on your commitment to Minot State University for the upcoming season for the next few years.
And great to hear from Claire Hudson on this edition of the MFHL podcast. Join the next stage segment here on this Tuesday morning. But yeah, I mean, she's joining a program in Minot State that throughout the years has been chock full of MFHL talent. Currently playing there, junior Erica Fiala, senior McKenna Beard, who it's pretty interesting actually. I'm not sure exactly why, but Chrissy Ring, for example, a former MFHL player, got fifth year eligibility this year. So maybe we could see McKenna Beard sticking around next year. I don't know the specifics on that, but other than that, like talk about players like Paige Crossley, a freshman this season that is played in her first year with Minot State. Same with Carlin Zant. Also taking a look at others like Paige Kozak, Carlene Goods, the list goes on. And then Bailey Grunwald. I think that's pretty cool that Claire Hudson's going to have a chance to reunite with her next season. That's something we didn't even talk about. But as for Minot State, they're getting a defenseman in Claire Hudson that has proven to be one of the best in the MFHL this year, if not the best. She's leading all defensemen in points so far this season. Her trajectory throughout the years has only gone up in terms of her point production, and she's doing that while on a stacked Winnipeg Ice blue line. This is a blue line with talented defensemen like Aaliyah Texiera, the likes of Tegan Walker. Sophia Ota's been very solid this year too, right? So for Claire to lead the way on this type of team this year from the back end and contributing like she has, really growing into her own in this league, it's just been great to see so far this year, and it's going to be very exciting for Minot to get a player that I think is committed to improving her game and getting better, and a player that could be one of their top defensemen at one point during her 4 to 5 years there at Minot State University. But congratulations to Claire Hudson. She made this official back a few months ago, near the start of the MFHL season. Of course, as she mentioned, made the visit down there last April. Knew she wanted to go there, but that pretty much confirming it. And yeah, excited to see what Claire can do at the next level. As for her Winnipeg Ice, they only played one game this past weekend. They survived a bit of a scare against Claire's former squad in the Interlake Lightning, but Winnipeg would end up prevailing with a huge 4-goal third period. Before we bring on Claire next for her second half of the interview that I had with her, we're going to show you some of the best plays that we've also posted on our Instagram from Week 14. Gets it back into the corner for Carvalho, keeps this cycle alive, but Trenholm takes it away soonly afterwards. It's just before the red line, dishes it off to Halpenny. Halpenny gets this to a teammate. Slot turned aside, rebound, scores! Extra huge sequence in this hockey game. 12:38 remaining, 3:36 left in this power play. Carvalho, where's that in? Scores! She's had a plethora of chances tonight. Off of a glorious chance. Puck along the near side boards, gathered out by Kapusta, makes her way to the net, snipe, scores! Freya Kapusta! Strikes first for this Winnipeg Avro squad tonight. Umpty sends it back up to the point where it's McKenna Steve. Sends that to the slot. Boyd lets that rip, but shot is blocked. Over the shoulder of Almeida, it's in! Clausen finds the trash in front. Puck just grazes over the shoulder of Almeida and connects beautifully with Hudson, who also has a teammate with her. Decides to shoot instead, she scores! What a rip from Presley Hudson! Gets the Yellowhead Chiefs up in this game late into the first period. Despiage Lair into her skates. An errant pass because of it, back into the Avers' possession. Collins plays it up back to Lavalley. Lavalley looking to take Cochran wide to the net, scores! Comeback complete! Callie Lavalley with an overtime winner beauty! As revenge complete for the Avros against the Yellowhead Chiefs. Yellowhead last week. And as mentioned, some of the best plays from Week 14 in the MFHL. A week where, or weekend as I should say, where one of our followers commented because we posted those snippets and the scores from this past weekend of action. One of our commenters saying it's a great weekend of hockey, and couldn't agree more. Seeing Interlake battling the ice the way they did and then getting their second win of the season on Saturday night against the Central Plains Capitals. I think that was fantastic to see. Kind of always pulling for those bottom end teams, right? The teams at the bottom of the standings. Unfortunate they couldn't get it done against Winnipeg on Friday night, but great bounce back performance from Interlake on Saturday night. As for Eastman, a great bounce back for them on Sunday, but man, Yellowhead, like they lost in overtime, but this is a team that every single one of their games to start off 2026 has gone to extra time, and they've been playing against some of the top end teams in the league, right? Like they came back against the Winnipeg Avros last Saturday night in Winnipeg, took the Winnipeg Ice to overtime and then a shootout after Yellowhead was leading that game 1-0 through the first two periods. They pull off one of the biggest upsets of the season, 3-2 victory in overtime with a short-handed marker from the captain and Emma Pollock on Saturday against the Eastman Selects in Niverville. And then even though they don't quite get the job done against the Winnipeg Avros and give up that 1-goal lead and lose in overtime, the fact is that this is a team that for a lot of that game controlled it against a very talented Winnipeg Avros team that's continuing to get better as this season goes along in their own right. So yeah, things are tightening up in the MFHL. Teams are more comfortable than ever at this point and ready for a big push coming up before playoffs. Speaking of, we'll get into power rankings. We just flashed those. We'll show those coming up later on after the second half of this interview with Claire Hudson. We didn't really get into the upcoming games for this weekend for this team, as well, they're going to have Saturday and Friday off, but they will be in action coming up on Wednesday night in Portage la Prairie against the Central Plains Capitals, and then on Sunday at home against the Pembina Valley Hawks. Those are going to be Saturday's matchup, by the way. We're going to have Westman and Eastman broadcasted on Saturday night for you on our Uscreen service. All those highlights you also saw, you can watch the full games and watch those games in their entirety on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. But we're going to throw to a commercial break, and then I'm going to bring Claire back in for the second half of the interview with her, as we talked about her time in the MFHL up until this point, the type of development she's seen throughout the years in her game, and much more on this edition of the MFHL podcast. Claire Hudson joining the show once again, coming up next.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, The Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. We're going to now transition into talking about your time in the MFHL specifically. And it didn't start off with the Winnipeg Ice. It started off with the Interlake Lightning back in 2023-2024, where you had yourself an incredible year. Led all players on the team in goals, had 15 points as a defenseman, and truly stood out on, I'd say, throughout the history by the stats, probably Interlake's most talented team. Taking back to that time, though, it's a few years ago. I'm not sure how much of the specifics, the details you remember, but what that year was like getting your first taste of U18 AAA hockey.
Yeah, that year it was really special to me because obviously making the cities was a little bit disappointed, or I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't make the cities. But I like Interlake was a great opportunity for me, and it was great in my development too because going from U15 to U18 is quite the shift. And so Interlake gave me the support that I needed to make that shift from U15 to U18. And they gave me the support in the team with the coaches and the competition with the girls. And it was a great year for us, one of the best in program history. And it was really fun to be a part of that kind of team where we were growing the team. And yeah, I made some really good friends on that team.
Yeah, and way back when, of course, you had a chance to play with the Rigaud twins that are now on the Eastman Selects. How kind of, I guess, unique, crazy looking back at it is knowing that, there's many players on that team still playing in the league, but you're all kind of around in different places. Do you guys still keep in talk contact, I assume?
Yeah, it was really funny that after that year, we all sort of went our own ways, whether that be different teams in the league or a couple girls went to prep. It's really funny to know that I don't think I played with a single girl on the interleague team now. I think they're all after my time, which is really funny because I went in with probably a class of 8 of us. And so, yes, I do keep in contact with most of them. I'll say hi around the rink or like I've done some spring camps with them. But yeah, it's really funny for yeah, we played for our first year together, but we're all split up now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how life can change from one moment to the other, right? And I mean, the change for yourself, it's brought a lot of success. I mean, you put up some great stats with this Winnipeg Ice team, but you had talked about the jump from U15 to U18. Obviously, there's some differences. The game is a bit faster at the U18 level. Girls are bigger. And just overall, the skill level ramps up, right, as you've been able to experience throughout these past 3 years. But what do you feel was probably, from a skill set standpoint, the biggest thing you took away from Interlake in your first year from a development standpoint?
I would say that the biggest change for me was definitely the speed of the game. I know that as a U15 player, I really struggled with quick starts and like getting up to top speed. And so what Interlake gave me was just not necessarily did I get much faster at Interlake. I feel like that came later, but definitely it helped me make decisions quicker because I knew teams would forecheck really hard and I wouldn't have a lot of time for decisions. And if I couldn't move my feet maybe as fast as some of the other girls, then I just had to make decisions much faster. And so I feel like that definitely helped me being at Interlake was the switch, between the fast pace of U18 compared to the slower pace of U15. I definitely was taught very quick to make fast decisions on the ice.
And obviously, that was noticed by the Winnipeg Ice when they've selected you back in 2024, 2025. That's just last year. I know saying the year may sound like it's a few years ago, but yeah, obviously a big goal for yourself accomplished last year. Like you pointed to, it was a disappointment kind of not making cities in the first year, even though you were grateful for everything that happened in Interlake. But take me back to that moment, finding out that you had accomplished a goal for yourself, making your city team, the Winnipeg Ice.
Yeah, it was definitely unexpected. Like I was ready to get cut and go back to Interlake tryouts and just get back to it. But I had made it to the second round and I was like, okay, like this is a little different. And then it was that night and I had got home and I remember my mom like came running into my room. She goes, "You made the ice." And I was like, you're kidding. Like there's no way. We were so happy. It was really an unforgettable experience and it was a shock, but I'm really happy that it happened.
Yeah, and now you're leading this team's defense core in points and in goals, and I mean assists as well. Just having a great year this year. But you spoke about the transition going into the U15 league to U18s. What was that transition like from, I guess, Interlake's style of play to the Ice's style of play? Were there any differences? How long did it take for you, I guess, to get comfortable last season in your first year in a bit of a new system?
Yeah, there were definitely some big differences. Like I know with Interlake being a less strong team, when we were in the ozone, it was all about getting shots on net, like as many shots as we could, just shooting was our aim because pucks on the net are higher goals than like you can get a goal faster by just getting pucks on the net. So that's what we did. Any shot we had, we took. But I know when I transitioned to ice, we had a more take some better shots. Like not every puck should just be shot at the net. Like, make sure you're really watching for our plays and hitting the people who are open and shooting with intent. And so that took a couple games for me to get used to because I was definitely used to getting the puck and just shooting it from anywhere and hoping that something would happen from it. But then moving to ice, I knew I had to slow it down and look for my options and be definitely a pickier shooter.
It's definitely one of the identities of the ice, a team that loves to pass that puck around, as you know, a team that emphasizes, team play first. And I think, just looking at how things have panned out, you've been a great addition to this group where this season, not only have you put up career numbers, but it looks by the stats we just talked about shooting for quality. You're shooting with quite a bit of quantity this year compared to last year. 124 shots taken so far. Is that just a testament to the confidence that you're playing with now as a player, being more comfortable to not only take a lot of shots, but taking a lot of high quality ones?
Yeah, I definitely feel like being a third year has really, I guess with age has come some confidence because maybe last year I wasn't so willing to shoot. And so this year, I guess, just being a vet, I am willing to take the shots and I'm wanting to shoot so that people can get rebounds or maybe shoot for a goal. But yeah.
Playing with a lot of confidence too, it seems like. Would you say that that's also kind of played into you playing with maybe even a bit more freedom this year, right? Coming out of your shell a bit more as that offensive talent. And do you feel like maybe that's why we've also seen that uptick in the offensive side of things, just because of the more confidence you played with this year?
I definitely think that the more confidence this year has really changed my game because I've been told by some coaches in the past that if I just had a little bit of confidence, I could go a long way. And so I guess I kind of just took that to heart this year and decided to, I guess, change my game a little bit by being more confident because I know in my past couple of years, I definitely did not have the confidence that I had this year.
And not only do you seem really confident, but the rest of this team is playing with a lot of confidence this season. A team that was a bit on the younger side of things last year compared to past ice teams. A lot more experience this year. Of course, you're into your second year. Many other players are into their second year from their first years with this ice group. And the team finds themselves currently first place in the standings. Take me through from a team perspective how truly special things have been like this season, how this team has been able to come together like they have so far.
Yeah, it's been really fun. We all, um, like, we're a really bonded team, I think. We do a lot together off the ice as well as on the ice. And so I think that has really helped us grow as a team because just knowing each other off the ice and being comfortable with each other off the ice really helps us play together well on the ice. And I guess with being a more older team this year, we know how each other plays. So it's really helpful that we've all played with each other for a while now, or the girls who just came in have played with each other before. So we know how each other's play. And so that also helps us because knowing how someone on your line plays helps you guys. Like it knows where your next move is going or something like that. And so it really helps that we are bonded like that.
Especially for a team that emphasizes team play at such a high level, right? The closer you can be, the greater that bond can be, most likely leads to more success. Seven more regular season games remaining for the squad before playoffs. Tournament coming up in the next couple of weeks, the Female World Sports School Challenge, and of course playoffs starting off sometime in February. But what's I guess the mindset now heading forward to the rest of the year for this group that obviously has championship aspirations, looking to avenge last year's heartbreaking semifinal loss to the Winnipeg Avers?
Yeah, I think we're just trying to keep it up, kind of stay steady, and really iron down and play our game during these last 7 games because we want to go into playoffs with as much momentum as we can because playoffs is a whole different game really. And so like as much as it's nice to finish first, like standings don't mean a lot when you get into playoffs. It's all about how hard you're willing to work. So I guess we're just trying to finish strong, but also have that mindset of knowing that playoffs come playoffs, it's going to be a whole different game.
Well, a player that's looking to be a huge part of their success in their playoff run whenever that does start, which will be sometime in February. Claire Hudson looking to be a big part of it moving forward for this Winnipeg Ice team. Claire, like I said to start off this interview with yourself, congratulations on your commitment to Minot State University once again. Looking forward as well myself to seeing how this Winnipeg Ice team can continue to put things together.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And Claire Hudson, second half of the interview with her talking about her time in the MFHL. And yeah, just looking back at that Interlake Lightning team, crazy to see how much talent they had. Looking back, I'd say probably their most talented team in franchise history from when I've started watching and covering this league, at least. But correction, Claire actually isn't the points leader out of defensemen in the league. The only defenseman with more points than her is Chloe Carrier of the Eastman Selects, who has stepped up her game this season, especially when Veda Rigaud was out of the lineup. By the way, Veda Rigaud, in 17 games played, is now at 19 points, tied with Claire Hudson. But yeah, Claire among the top point getters of defensemen in the MFHL. And just taking a look at her numbers compared to her Winnipeg Ice counterparts in terms of regular season play. Chloe Delacouille would be second on the team in terms of defenseman point totals, and she has 14 points in 21 games, which is 5 less than Claire Hudson's 19 points in 21 games. And as mentioned, Claire, this season for Hudson, she has gone from 25 points in 63 total games last season to this year, in 35 total games played so far, 32 points. So she's having herself a career year in the season before she makes her move to Minot State University to play for the Beavers in 2026, 2027, and beyond. Taking a look at the standings one last time here. As for the Winnipeg Ice, they're second in all major scoring statistics right now. Second in goals for. Second in goals against. They've won 7 straight, and this team also one of the least penalized teams in the league as time has gone on this season too, with the second most power play goals. Everything's been clicking for this Winnipeg Ice as this season has gone along. We'll show you the scores from around the league one last time here before we get into the power rankings, which will be coming up after the next commercial break. You're watching the MFHL podcast on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. More to come after these messages.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, The Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
Welcome back to the MFHL podcast. We're going to get into power rankings here coming up right now. Just as a reference, we'll show you where the teams are in the standings one final time. And yeah, we'll show you the upcoming power rankings that are brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance, an individually owned Winnipeg gym located at 1111 Winnipeg Avenue in building number 3. Be sure to check them out today or on their website at movementfp.ca. But as for the Ice, they've taken top spot back. The reason for that, well, this team is now the hottest team left in the MFHL after Eastman had their 9-game winning streak snapped against the Yellowhead Chiefs on Saturday night. But yeah, the Selects bouncing back with a huge win, 11-0. Keeps them in that second spot. Westman with a win on the weekend. third team to reach 10 wins this season. They stay in third. As for the Winnipeg Avros, they've jumped up 2 spots, putting together a couple of wins this past weekend. They're on a 3-game winning streak, and of course they avenged their loss from last Saturday against the Yellowhead Chiefs, or I guess 2 Saturdays ago now at this point, and were able to battle through to win in overtime. But the Avros, they've been outshot these past 2 games. Still felt like giving them 2 bumps up just because of how they fared this past weekend, and this team proven that, they were able to survive in their own end, even though they got outshot in their games. Got some really good quality goaltending. They have one of the best goaltending duos in the league, and some game breakers up front, right? Like Callie Lavalibre Kapusta had herself a huge weekend with 2 goals in Saturday's victory against the Pembina Valley Hawks. So everything kind of came together for the Winnipeg Avros this weekend, and they were able to put together 2 straight wins. As for the Yellowhead Chiefs, I'm going to keep them in the 5th ranking, although this team could very well make a push for the top 3 at some point in these power rankings, the way they've been playing as of late. The only thing that's kind of holding them back is the lack of offense. They put a lot of pressure on teams, but just that natural goal scoring ability, not quite at the highest level it's been in the past for Yellowhead. But yeah, keeping them in 5th just because even though they did have such a huge win against the Eastman Selects, the Avros were able to take them down, so felt like I had to put the Avros just in front of them, but wouldn't be surprised if those 2 teams flip-flop coming up in our power rankings. As for the Central Plains Capitals, this is a team that, if we take a look at their last 3 games, they're on a 3-game losing streak, and taking a look, just this past Saturday, falling to the Interlake Lightning, as they were only able to put up 1 goal. As for the Central Plains Capitals squad, talked about it, their consistency has been a bit lacking, and that consistency has been a bit off as of their past 3 games, as last Sunday they lost 6-1 against the Winnipeg Avros as well, as the Avros bounce back from that loss against the Yellowhead Chiefs. But yeah, that's why I dropped Central Plains 2 spots, feeling like the Avros and Chiefs have just been stronger teams as of late. As for the Lightning, I've bumped them up a spot. Look, even though they lost 5-1 on Sunday, they battled against the top team in the MFHL and even had them down 2-0, as mentioned, after the first 2 periods. On Friday night, this team was able to come away with their 2nd win of the season against a team that's been in the middle of the pack this year in the Central Plains Capitals. And just looking at how Pembina Valley's weekend went, losing 4-2 to the Avros on Saturday and then 11-0 to Eastman on Sunday afternoon, I just feel like it was only right to bump Pembina Valley down a spot and to bump the Lightning up a spot, as these power rankings, don't forget, are kind of based week by week. So yeah, we could very well see Pembina Valley rise up once again. Maybe this gives them a bit of motivation to bounce back big time. I just realized, too, that I did not update their record, as Pembina Valley is now 6-12-1 this season in the MFHL. As, these are our power rankings after Week 14, brought to you by Movement, Fitness, and Performance. As for Week 15, it starts off tomorrow night with 2 games. 7:30 p.m. it gets going. Pembina Valley in Morden taking on the Interlake Lightning. The Winnipeg Ice look to try to extend their win streak to 8 when they take a trip down to Portage la Prairie to battle against the Central Plains Capitals team that is hungry for a win coming up. Yellowhead Westman on Friday night. That one I expected to be, honestly, a low-scoring game if Yellowhead is on the top of their game. If not, maybe Westman is able to run away with it. But I think it's going to be a pretty close competitive game between those 2 rivals. As for us on Saturday, we're going to be picking up our MFHL game day coverage with the Westman Wildcats taking on the Eastman Selects. I feel like we've covered about every single one of their matchups this year, and they haven't really disappointed. These 2 teams always a lot of fun to watch, and yeah, we're going to be joining Eastman. Well, not joining them directly, but in spirit. We're going to be going on a long road trip much like them, into Hartney, Manitoba, into Hartney Arena on Saturday night. The Pembina Valley Hawks get the Avros, a rematch from last Saturday, this time at home, and then Yellowhead staying home on Saturday night to face off against the Central Plains Capitals. And then finally on Sunday, there's going to be 4 games on the schedule. Ice Hawks, Chiefs selects. I know that Eastman's probably going to be really fired up and motivated and locked in to try to avenge their loss from last Saturday, or this past Saturday, against Yellowhead. Westman takes on Central Plains in the latest game, the last game to get going on Sunday. And as for us, we're going to have the Avros and the Lightning broadcasted at 3:30 p.m. from Seven Oaks Arena. That game can be seen on our Uscreen service at gshowproductions.uscreen.io, like the Westman Wildcats and Eastman Selects game. And by the way, if you check out the MFHL's website at MFHLU18AAA.com, I know that we've had some viewers reach out to us saying that it's hard to find some games. Well, this makes it simple. On the homepage for every month moving forward of game day action, we're also going to put our playoff matchups in there when playoff time comes, but they're all on the homepage of the MFHL's website at MFHLU18AAA.com. There's individual game links, so for example, it'll show the date. You can click on it beside the matchups that we are going to be broadcasting this month. We're, by the end of it, going to be broadcasting 10 in total in the MFHL, which I'm super excited to get going in this league again. It's been a fantastic start to the new year, but yeah, you can directly go to any of the games by going to the MFHL's website and also clicking on our logo on the MFHL's homepage. Will also bring you to all of the games. So if you want to check out a later or an earlier game that may not be on the list for this month, that would be the solution to that. But if you want to find us directly, we post all our games on gshow.productions.uscreen.io, and we're starting to also put them in our events section for our upcoming schedule, stuff like that. So that would be on gshow.ca. We also always post links through our Instagram. Many ways to find us. We hope you do for the upcoming weekend of MFHL Game Day. This is going to be it for this edition of the MFHL podcast. I've been your host, Graham, the G Show Forsyth. Special thanks to Claire Hudson once again for coming on and being the guest on this week's episode. We're most likely going to have Ferdy joining us next week. Was thinking of having him on again. I think I might have said I'd have him on again last week for this week, but decided to take the segment in a bit of a different direction from this week. I think hearing from a player that's recently gone through the commitment process and is gearing up to take that next step next year is some great insight for viewers to be able to, get some knowledge from. And yeah, super excited to see where the next stage that segment will take us moving forward here on the podcast. But yeah, until next Tuesday, everybody, I've been your host, Graham, the G Show Forsyth. Next Tuesday, we'll be coming out with episode 14, season 3. Stay tuned for that. Until then, I've been your host, Graham, the G Show Forsyth, peacing out, waving so long, and thanking you for tuning into this one. If you enjoyed this edition of the MFHL podcast, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, so you don't miss any future uploads, and consider leaving a like too, since that helps us get more into YouTube's algorithms, so more people like you can see content like this pop up on their feed. Like I said, Graham, the G Show Forsyth, peacing out and waving so long, everybody. Take care. Have a good one.